Hi friends, Quill here, and today we are here to discuss the Dancer class. For those of you who don't know, in Fire Emblem Three Houses, you get to choose your own Dancer from each of your students. Only students can get this class, no professors, no Knights of Saros, or the like. And in our playthrough of the Black Eagles route, we have reached the point where we get to decide who is the dancer in our party. So I decided to make a video about who I believe to be the best dancer in the Fire Emblem Three Houses game. If you enjoy Fire Emblem types of videos like this, make sure you hit that like button down below, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the action coming forward. Now let's just go ahead and get into it. When we look at a dancer, we're looking for a dodge tank, not really a fighter. However, we want our dancer to be proficient in swords just because of the bonuses that dancers get when they wield a sword. We also want them to have high speed and high luck because those are the two stats that contribute to your avoid stat. Dodge tanks rely on their avoid stats, and those two stats are what help increase your avoid. A lot of people are going to disagree with me and say that you need to have really high charm to be a good dancer, and that's because of the combat art that you unlock when your character wins the White Heron Cup. We'll get to that in a second. Called Sword Dance, which uses charm instead of strength or magic to calculate damage output. But I'm going to go ahead and argue that we are using this dancer as a dodge tank and as a dancer, so at least I'm not the kind of player that's going to be using that combat art very often. So in my opinion, you only need to get your charm up to a certain threshold. Again, we'll get to that in the future. And the final and last thing to consider when choosing a dancer is you want someone who has little potential. The whole point of a dancer is you take a unit who isn't going to do much and use their turn to restore a unit who is going to do a lot. And following that frame of thought, you don't want to take someone with a high strength or high magic stat and turn them into somebody who essentially exists only to give someone else another turn. The whole point of a dancer is to give your best units another chance to attack, not to be a good unit themselves. So a lot of people on that thought process are just going to say, well, let's take our worst unit and make them the dancer, and I'm going to, in this video, sort of shy away from that thought process. There is a specific character that I believe fits these stipulations particularly well. Comment down below and let me know who you guys made your dancer, who you would like to make your dancer, and let me know if you think my opinions are valid. Alright, so first things first, like I said, I very much value a dancer who favors swords. So these are the characters that do. From the Black Eagles, we have Edelgard, Dorothea, Ferdinand, and Petra. From the Blue Lions, we have Dimitri, Felix, and Ingrid. And from the Golden Deer, we have Claude, Ignatz, Marianne, and Lysithea. I think any of these units on screen could make good dancers, but we're trying to get to the very best one, and I believe that these 11 characters are a good starting space. But if we want to look at speed, again, speed is the most important stat when it comes to our avoidance, so how often we get hit. And if you look here, I've gone ahead and scaled up each of the characters' speed stats from their base all the way up to level 21, but I didn't take into account any class benefits or other bonuses like that. And this is okay because we can send each of these characters through whatever classes we'd like to maximize those stats, but as a baseline, these are the stats I'm going to be looking at. And as we see here, there are variable speed stats. And so we're going to do our first cut based on speed, and that leaves us with Ferdinand, Petra, Ingrid, Felix, Claude, Ignatz, and Lysithea. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with me because Dorothea is not in this group, but her speed is just too low. On top of that, I value her as a mage way too much to use her as a dancer. So these are our fast units, but then what comes next, right? So we want to look at our luck, because luck factors into magic avoid, which is slightly less important, you could argue, but still something that we want to value. And as you can see, there's one stat that I kind of honestly laughed at when I first calculated it. At level 21, Lysithea only has 7 luck, so you can guess who's going to get cut first, but let's see who else made it. We are out of Blue Lions members. They are too unlucky, I suppose. So we've got Ferdinand, Petra, Ignatz, and Claude left as our candidates for dancer. The last thing I want to consider again is that low potential that each of the units has for growth. And so since each of these 4 units is more physically based, I went ahead and looked at their strength stats. And as we can see, there is one very clear choice for the dancer, and that is Ignatz. I have chosen Ignatz as the best dancer in 3 houses. He's recruited automatically in the Golden Deer house, but can be recruited to either of the other houses when you up your dexterity and authority stats. The problem with Ignatz that makes him the perfect candidate for a dancer is that his stats are a little bit all over the place. Maybe he has the stats to be an archer with his high dexterity and speed stats, but in the Golden Deer house you already have Leone, who makes a much better bow knight in my opinion. If you look at Ignatz's bases, growths, and maximum stats, his strengths lie within the stipulations for a good dancer, as well as his spell lists, including some really interesting things that I think Ignatz can use. Obviously, the dancer class does have access to magic. It's not their preferred weapon of choice, but things like heal and physic are going to be very, very good on Ignatz as a dancer. And for these reasons, I think Ignatz makes a really, really good dancer. Spoiler alert, a lot of people are going to disagree with me and say that Flayn should be the dancer, but there are certain plot decisions that can take Flayn out of your party. On top of that, her speed and luck stats are laughably low. I don't remember them off the top of my head. I should have included them here, but they're terrible. She does not make a very good dodge tank. She's much better as a primary or secondary healer and magic damage dealer. Okay, so then when it comes to building your dancer Ignatz, these are the skills that I think you might want to consider. Obviously, your sword avoid plus 20. You get that when you win White Heron Cup. I'm going to show you how to do that here in a minute. That offers avoid plus 20 with a sword equipped. So really good ability to make sure that Ignatz doesn't get hit. He can go in and dance for somebody and stay within the enemy range without being worried about taking more damage. Second, you can look into either sword, reason, or faith prowess. Obviously, level 5 is the optimal, maxes out at each of those weapon proficiencies at A+. It offers hit plus 10, avoid plus 20, and crit avoidance plus 10 with the respective weapon equipped. This is really good. Again, that plus 20 avoid really adds on to our dodge tanky-ness. Once we master the dancer class, we will get the skill Special Dance. That allows us to gift plus 4 dexterity, speed, and luck when dancing. That is huge. Not only are we letting our best unit move again, but we're letting them move again with increased stats, and that is invaluable. You can also look into Axe Breaker if you really want to dodge anyone using an axe. I think that might be a little bit overkill. Obviously, Axe Breaker increases hit and avoid when using swords, but it's kind of situational, and I think that there are better skills to equip. Speaking of which, if you want to turn Ignatz into an absolute support unit, you can endow him with rally skills, including speed at D, dexterity at C+, and strength at S, all of those of course being authority rank, and these are good skills. They can make one of your units hit harder or proc a skill, or even double something that they wouldn't have otherwise. Moving on to the last 2 skills, these are skills that you need to dip into weapon ranks that Ignatz is never going to use, but it might be worth it to get some of these skills. So first is the Alert Stance and Alert Stance Plus, unlocked at Flying B and A+ respectively, and they offer a very big boon to avoid, either 15 at rank B or 30 at rank A+ when your unit chooses wait. Now the only problem with this is that Ignatz is not going to be waiting very much. He's either going to be using physic or renewing his ally's turn, but it is something that you can look into if you'd like to invest in that. The last one, and one that I think could be very useful, is movement plus 1. You unlock that at riding level A+, and what movement plus 1 gives you the ability to do is to catch up to your other units faster. Now they did give dancers a buff in this game. They are able to move further than dancers in the past, but if you can increase that movement even further, that would just be great. The only problem is that you have to get Ignatz's riding level up to A+. Alright, that does it all for the preparations. I stand firmly in my opinion that Ignatz is the best of the dancers. Obviously, different playstyles will value different things in different units, but for my playthrough, Ignatz is the obvious choice. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the game where we actually get Ignatz to be this dancer. Hi friends, as promised, we are going to go ahead and look at how to make Ignatz, our dear Ignatz, into the most beautiful dancer there ever was. And so first we're going to go ahead and fast travel to Rhea. Now this is immediately following chapter 8. It is during the ethereal moon, which is the 12th month on this calendar. Immediately after the Remire village mission. If you have faced the Death Knight for the 3rd time, you're in the right place. Alright, so Rhea has a quest here.
It is customary that we host a competition of dance known as the White Heron Cup. The students are quite fond of this tradition. Each house must select a representative to compete. Their dance shall be judged by its beauty, grace, and technique. The student who is deemed the winner will be given the opportunity to train as a dancer, should they so please. It is a very precious thing, the gift of dance. I hope that you and your students will choose to participate.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and
May I
accept this
ask a
quiz,
favor of you?
this quest. And then at the start of the week 3 of this month, the White Heron Cup dance contest will be held. To participate, you must select a representative by the end of week 2. So now we're going to go ahead and go to see our little Ignatz. Where is he?
Right.
All right, Ignatz.
Some scary things have been happening lately. I hope that this month, of all months, is peaceful. The ball is coming up and everything. Although I'm not much of a dancer, actually. Watching other people dance can be fun, though.
So, fun fact, I did not know that that was going to be text there, but you know what? Should I choose Ignatz as House Representative? Yes, I shall.
Me? What? No, please, you can't.
Yes, I can, and I have. Speak
Professor?
to him.
Can you watch me practice?
We're going to go and let him practice really fast. This gives him an automatic and permanent 5-point boost to his charm, which will increase his likelihood of winning. Yeah, so his charm increased by 5.
Is this how you do it? I'm feeling a little unsteady.
Alright, now we're going to go talk to Manuela really fast and find out. It should be 13.
I hear you've chosen your representative for the White Heron Cup. In that case, a word of advice. On an average year, the winning contestant has about this much charm.
About 13. Alright, so at this point, our Ignatz has 17 charm, which is well over the 13 that's recommended to win the White Heron Cup, so we should be good. And I'm going to go ahead and cut back once the White Heron Cup is about to begin. Alright, friends, we are back here for the White Heron Cup.
Ahem. Ladies and gentlemen, my sincerest apologies for the wait.
This is
Thank you
the
for
event we
gathering
need
here
to
on
unlock
the
the dancer
eve of
class.
the highly anticipated ball to bear witness to the Academy-wide dance competition. Welcome to the White Heron Cup.
Let's hope we win.
The competition will be judged by me, your humble servant, Alois Rangel, and also the acclaimed former songstress of the Mittelfrank Opera Company, Manuela Casagranda.
Okay, that's
Yes,
I like the
yes.
us name.
Thank you.
And the way he pronounces it, it's great.
Oh, and it should go without saying, but I swear to show no bias to my own house. Got it? Good.
Better not. Better pick us.
Last but
Well, I mean,
not least,
you
the
fight with us now,
glamorous
but, you know.
assassin who does all of her dancing in the dead of night, Shamir Navrand.
I love Shamir.
The three of us swear on our honor to judge the following proceedings with utmost impartiality and fairness. And with that, will the representatives of each house please make their way to the stage? Contestants,
Okay, so we've got the Do and the
are you
Scythia to go up
ready
against.
dance? And is the band prepared to play? Very well. Begin!
Now we get a little cutscene where they dance around a little bit, which is fun. Look at him. The Do looks funny as a dancer, I'm sorry. The Scythia looks regular.
Time! That's all, folks!
Wonderful.
Splendid! All three of you were fantastic!
This is exciting.
Now, let's hear what the judges have to say.
Oh
Okay.
my, let's see. I suppose I have no choice but to vote for the Black Eagle
That's
House.
one vote for Ignatz. Let's hear
Your
it.
performance was exhilarating. My heart is still beating a mile a minute.
Remember, he said he couldn't dance.
I
so,
vote
you know,
for.
like, come on, Shamir. Shamir.
Golden Deer House.
No! Shamir!
Can't say why.
Can't say why. You should vote for your own house if you can't say why.
Great feedback, both of you. Well then, let's see. Factoring in my own humble opinion, yes, we have a winner.
When
And
winner.
I will announce who it is
Ignatz.
right now.
Come on.
Without any delay, the winner of this year's White Heron Cup
Call this guy Ryan
is
Reynolds, you know?
the Black Eagle House.
Ignatz is our dancer.
I can't say I had much confidence going in, but
And you guys now
This is
know
great.
why that's the best
Once
option.
more, please give a big round of applause for our talented participants.
Alrighty. So we have our dancer class. I'm going to teach you really fast how to get into that dancer class. You have to go in and equip it. Okay, so we got the dancer class, and then the sword dance combat art and the sword avoid +20. So you hit this X button, you go down to your roster, and then choose Ignatz, or whoever you decide to choose. If you took my advice, then it's Ignatz. You go to, I believe it's inventory, yes, reclass, and we'll go ahead and reclass Ignatz into the dancer class.
I'll do my best.
And I'll put up some shots after this of Ignatz dancing. All right, let's see Ignatz the dancer in action.
Ready? Any?
Thanks.
I love his animation. It's great. Whether you follow my lead and make Ignatz your dancer, or whether you choose somebody else, there's really no wrong answer. So thank you very much for seeing what I had to say, and as always, see you next time.